How you doing?
Hey, up, mate. You all right?
Yeah, sorted, mate. Awesome.
Good stuff. We are a little bit late today, and
I'm one shy.
I'm one shy. We've lost one. Nice, bless him, old Dom. He's busy. For those of you that don't know, Dom is actually a professional boxer, so he's actually been sparring tonight, and of course he is a little bit busy, not being able to make it back. So we've held it back a little bit, but unfortunately we are one light, so the Holy Trinity is not quite fulfilled. It looks like you need a refill there, Wayne.
I do. Wait when my wife gets home, she'll make one.
He bar gum, man, needs a cup of tea.
Aye, I do.
I hope that's Yorkshire tea.
Oh, aye, it is.
None of this shite Lancashire tea that's come up market, or this Welsh tea, or any of that stuff, or Thai Fu. If you drink Thai Fu or PG Tips, that's it. Get out.
Or Chang beer. It's no good either.
So it's just a bit gassy, that stuff, in it.
And a bit overpriced.
A little bit.
Especially in Concourse to Goodison, yeah.
And you're not allowed to take it into actual stand either, so
I know, exactly.
You've got to drink it right quick. And it's gassy as buggery, and oh god, you just end up like first 5 minutes, you're like, oh god, I wish I'd not had that scouse pie now.
I've got photographs actually of one of the times that I was looking in an old laptop from 2012, and I found an old picture of me and my mate in the stand, who is now, by the way, I'll have to say he's now a Wednesday fan, but he came along to Goodison with me. I know, he defected to the dark side. He's now a Wednesday fan because he's from Sheffield, and I took him to his first football game ever, and it was Everton. And
he didn't, and he turned to Wednesday. It weren't our loss against Burnley, were it?
No, it's not a recent thing.
Oh, that's all right then.
I think this was in the David Moyes era, and I've got photographs of us in the concourse. And I kid you not, the photographs were taken about 30 seconds apart, and the beer just disappeared from the glasses because we knew we had to get back in us. We were in the Gladys, in the Gladys lower on the second row from the front on the Gladys, right behind the goal, and we knew we had to quickly stop up and get back down before it kicked off again.
We've all done it. Oh
yeah, all right.
And then you have a Bovril as well that you've got to try and get down.
No, Bovril's out of fashion now. It's got to be a tea. We've got to do the old Carlo. We've got to do the Carlo Ancelotti now, I think.
It's got to be done. But now, no, we can't do that. Last time I went, they served Thai Fu. That's just wrong.
Oh, yeah.
This be Yorkshire tea.
Just bring me on tea bag and ask for a cup of hot water.
Take a flask.
Can't refuse me, yeah. Or take a flask, yeah. Sort of.
Well, shall we get this shite Burnley match thing out of the way then, shall we?
Let's just pull it off like a sticky plaster, mate. Just pull it straight off.
Do you know what? I can't even believe I'm actually going to...
That's it. Is that it? We're done now then. I think you muted yourself, Tris. Just don't.
I have, yeah. You see, that's how bad that was.
You have no words.
I have literally no words. I don't even know what to say. I don't really want to. I don't want to really
revisit
it. It's just one
Fulham
of them.
and Newcastle all over again, and it's this phobia we've got of smaller teams. And so I'm sorry, Burnley. I don't mean to disrespect you in any way, shape, or form, but in terms of the teams that we should be beating the likes of Burnley. Easily.
Of course we should. Yeah,
whether home or away.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't make any apologies for that, but I am sorry if I do offend Burnley fans by saying that they're a smaller team. They are. I think in my eyes, they are. They are.
Well, you only have to look. You only have to look at the table, don't you? Against a team like Burnley, we should be, getting a result. And we always know with a Burnley side that it's going to be a hard game, just because of the way that they're set up. Quite often they'll part of the bus. I say that we've had some cracking results over the past few seasons. One of them were like stupid amount of goals, weren't it? But what happened was we got completely outplayed for pretty much 80% of the game, and the 20% that wasn't that, it was pretty even. So pretty much all of the game, we were not the better side at all throughout that. It was just, I'm going to say it, I'm going to be blunt, as most of us Evertonians tend to be, and quite realistic.
Out with it.
It was shite from start to finish. That's as much as I can say about it, really. It were awful.
And I only caught the highlights, Tris, of that game. This was one of the games that I didn't get to watch live, so I actually caught the highlights, so I knew the score.
Do you know what? You were lucky because you literally got the best bits. So what was it, about 30 seconds?
I think
two goals for Burnley.
Yeah.
Instead, I actually managed to endure 94 minutes of torture.
We were just getting caught in possession all the time, weren't we? And they bossed the passing around. They were the better team, and they did deserve to win.
Yeah, they were on the front foot for the vast majority of the game. Even in the second half, when I say we improved, what we did is we went from first gear to second gear and then stuck there, revving the bollocks off it. That's literally about the best I can say that we actually did. It was just
by the time we did try and create something out of the game, it was way too late because they'd already killed the game off. So get the last little bit of tea.
Yeah, I mean, we seem to have this habit this season, particularly, of not really pushing forward until we actually go one down. How many times have we gone one down and then finally we actually start playing, or they're scoring, we finally start actually playing? And after that second goal, we did get one back pretty quickly, and it were a damn good goal, in fairness. It was well taken. But overall, it was just poor. What we should have done is come out from that second half, really cracked on and really taken that game to them. We're at home, for God's sake, and we just didn't. It were poor.
What do you think went wrong? Do you think the tactical setup was just not right for the game, or because that Carlo's known for tinkering about, and if something's not right, he usually changes it, doesn't he? And makes a masterstroke sub, as we've seen previously.
Yeah, he's got to take some responsibility for the setup. Clearly, it wasn't right because they literally were on the front foot right from the word go, so it wasn't quite right. But I think the players have really got to take a good look at themselves, particularly at home. They just don't seem bothered. They don't seem arsed sometimes. And it's literally like, you should put on that shirt. I mean, as an Evertonian, we all say this, but you should pull on that shirt, have that badge, on your chest, and you should play like your life depended on it. And that just does not happen at home, particularly this season. It's like, away from home, we managed to be able to grind out results, or we managed to be able to, pull something out of the bag, put in a good performance. At home, where we should be comfortable, and in previous years we have been, that's been where our good form's been. We're just not good at all. 5 losses out of the last 7 games is...
Do you know what, though, Tris? It gives me comfort to know that we ain't the only ones who can't play at home. All right, not mentioning them next door to us, but, I mean, other teams are struggling at home, aren't they? A lot of teams are doing better on the road, aren't they? Crystal Palace have amazing form on the road. And, just to pick an example out, Chelsea seem to be okay on the road as well and struggle a little bit at home, and they're not the only ones.
No, we're not at all, and I think
so. You can blame some of it on the fact that the fans aren't in the ground, and
I was just going to say that. Yeah, I was just going to say that it'll be interesting to see when fans actually do go back, whether those home games, they do start to generate. Because we all know home fans, particularly at places like Goodison, they really get on the team's back. They can really intimidate other teams as well. I think another team that have really, really suffered this season as a result of that is Sheffield United. I've said that before in a few podcasts before, just because I know my family are Blades as well, and I know what that ground is like from going to derby games there with my family and stuff like that. Very similar ethos and atmosphere to Goodison, in the fact that the fans really do make a huge difference to how the team perform. And we've probably both been there at Goodison when we've been playing absolutely appallingly, and just how quickly the fans get on their back. Or if the team's doing well, or needs that G up, that Goodison Roar really can give you the kick up the backside that you need. Commentators say, don't they? Gladys Street suck that ball
into the goal. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's always traditional when we have the toss at the beginning of the game. If we win the toss, we always elect to go Gladys Street in the second half, always, because we need that extra bit of wind. And I'll tell you what it is. You've seen it. You've probably been in Gladys Street when they come down our end, and they come to score down our end. You can feel the concrete rumbling underneath.
Oh, it literally moves, rumbles. It does. Yeah, it moves. It's. I mean, the fans are
it's
obviously
surreal,
key.
Isn't it? It's a surreal feeling.
Would we be, if fans were in, we probably wouldn't have had this sort of like conversation that we're having now about, home form. Goodison has always been
up the table. We'd probably be further up the table, I would say. But we can't apportion all the blame to that. Like you say, they have to take a good look at themselves, and they have to, pretend. Well, not pretend as fans in there. I mean, that's just a bit childish. But like have the same mentality, or try to adopt the same mentality. I can't begin to sort of say to people, we can't tell people how the mentality should be, but there should be better ways of cheating themselves up and realising how important the home games are.
Yeah, Big Dunk needs to have a word.
It does. I think it does.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, like you said, there's so many other teams which are struggling. I mean, you look at our neighbours across the park. It's now domestic abuse. They've been beaten that many times at home. But there's, we are actually scoring. That's the thing. We are getting goals at home. We're just seem to be letting in more while we're scoring. I know that sounds really, really basic, but that's fundamentally what the problem is. We're letting in more goals than we're scoring, and when we're playing, we just don't seem arsed.
I mean, they probably are asked. Who are we to say whether Richarlison's got the best poker face ever. He doesn't look asked whether he scored a goal or whether he scored a hat-trick or what, does he?
Apart from if you want to bring him, unless you want to bring him off, then you know exactly what he thinks about it with his face. And when he boots the crap out at water bottles on way down and then storms down tunnel, then you know what he's thinking. Rest of the time, unless he's doing bobbing with chicken, that's the only other time. Or rolling about on floor constantly.
No, exactly. But he don't wear his hat on his sleeve at all, does he? Richarlison is such a hard player to read, to understand what's going on in his head, But
he's also one of them players that never does this as well. You notice him all hiding from camera these days, so that you can't see what they're saying. But yeah, he never seems to do that. He sits like straight out, he just doesn't say anything.
Probably speaks in Portuguese. Although I did see him drop the F-bomb on telly a couple of weeks ago when he were playing. I think it was a game on Amazon Prime I was watching. It might have even been the derby.
Oh, we see it all the time. Did you see DCL's F-bomb when Pickford came out and took for the penalty in the recent game? He literally went, "Oh, fucking hell, man," proper loud, and you can see it on camera, and it was just like, yep, that's what every Evertonian was thinking at that point.
Yep.
Here we go again. Speaking of DCL and Jordan Pickford, actually, of course, England squad announced for the upcoming qualifiers for the World Cup. And, what do we think to that? Obviously, Jordan Pickford out injured. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, rightly so, called up. Big question. Michael Keane, missing, not selected.
Yeah, no. Well, I looked. I did read into why that is, and they did say that it were an injury doubt. So they say. Maybe Carlo is being very, very cautious with him because he wants to keep the back four pairing that he's had.
I did actually think that when it was released, because if you look at his form, there's. He's better than some of the ones which Southgate has actually picked. So yeah, I did wonder if it was one of those club selections where club over country sort of comes into it at this stage. Let's be honest, we've already qualified anyway. It's not something that we need to be risking, and we can't afford Keane to get injured with our current injuries at the moment at the back. So is it one of those?
Are there any other international fixtures that will affect some of our squad selection? I can't remember because it's on a Euro qualification. It's not the rest of the world, is it? So the likes of Richarlison will be having a rest, won't they, for that week for the international break?
Yeah, I would expect so. So it shouldn't impact us too much. Obviously, DCL is young, is fit enough. He's up front. Shouldn't hopefully come back with any injuries. Whereas defensively, we cannot afford to be picking up anything else.
No, absolutely.
God help us if Virginia ends up getting injured. We'll be like fourth keeper. It's obviously Olsen out, Pickford out, and credit to the lad. When he came on, he looked very sure.
We might be knocking on the door. Might be looking on the door, asking for Olsen to come back. Not Olsen, Lossell. For Lossell.
Oh God. Come back I'll take me luck with Virginia. I think I'll stick with that.
Let's get Jan Muka back out of retirement. Do you know what? I liked him. I actually liked him.
Bugger it. Get Big Nev out. Just sit him in goal. Not a chance of anybody scoring. Irrespective of his goal stopping ability.
His stature and his aggression, he'll probably just knock him out if they get anywhere near him.
What a legend. Yeah, honestly, my absolute hero.
He's mine as
absolute hero. Besides, we're digressing into Wales there, but
we were talking about that a bit earlier, weren't we? About a lot of Welsh people becoming Evertonians and stuff. I've got a few friends that are Welsh that are Evertonians. So.
Let's not talk about Welsh though. Yeah, let's go back to England just for a second. Some good news with under 21s. So Ben Godfrey and Tom Davies both called up for the 21 finals, which is awesome. Great to see our youngsters getting that sort of. That mention, that call-up. Godfrey has been outstanding. Absolutely outstanding this season.
Both deserving of the places, totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just having a look. Absolutely. I'm just going to have a look at something here, because now you said that. Hang on a minute. So, Ben Godfrey. Oh, wow. Yeah. He's been called up for the England under-21s, but he's 23. Work that out. It's an odd one, isn't it?
Get him in senior squad. Yeah.
Well, Is the England under 21 become the reserves or something?
I'm not sure, because like with the Premier League 2, that's essentially under 21s, isn't it? But you can play so many senior players within a squad. Mm-hmm. Is that right? I think that's how it works.
But they've done away with under 21s now. You've got the under 23s, which is the reserve team, the under 18s, which is the academy team.
Maybe it's actually classed as under 23s then.
And then all the other age groups play in minimal localized leagues, but they can draw from the pool of players from each academy and things to make up the squad.
Maybe that's what it is then. Maybe it's classed as sort of under 23s more than 21s.
Maybe they're just waiting for it to be retitled. I don't know. Yeah, but I just thought, what's all that about?
Maybe. Well, they've both been called up anyway, and they're both going to be wearing the 3 lions come the summer if everything goes ahead as planned, which hopefully that will be the case.
Tom Davies is 22 as well. 23 in a couple of months.
Yeah, it must be under 23s then now. And
they did. When I were a kid, they used to have England B. Do you remember England B?
Oh, yeah.
Well, and they had a C team, as well, which were drawn from the conference, and they used to play conference players who that way. I think we should bring something like that back in, for conference players to enable themselves to get caps for England. And they used to play in miniature tournaments with England C. And
hey, there's hope for me. There's hope for me. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I could get it Z team, maybe ball boy reserves.
I'll be making tea in that team.
Yorkshire tea, not.
Yeah, Yorkshire. Oh, of course it is. Not bloody Thai Fu or PG Tips. Bugger that. So
I'm going to say this. We've had some good news, but it's been bittersweet this week, haven't we? We've had some bad.
It has, definitely some bad news. Obviously, the captain. Or ex-captain, should I say now, currently at Sheffield United, Phil Jagielka, his brother sadly passed away. The news was broken yesterday, which is obviously sad news, and I think all of our thoughts is with Phil and the rest of his family and friends at the moment. Very sad news to hear. So, I don't expect that Phil will be watching our podcast at the moment. I very much doubt it, but our thoughts are with him nonetheless. So very, very sad news. And seems to be a lot of that going around as well, not just in the football world, but also I think we mentioned earlier as well, obviously Murray Walker and Sabine Schmidt as well today announced.
Yeah.
So
the lady with the balls of steel. The only lady I know with balls
you're not
of steel.
kidding.
Can do the Nürburgring in a transit van in 15 minutes. What the hell?
I don't know, balls of steel. You've not met my wife, mate. She's
Hey, chuck her in a transit. See how fast she can do it.
No. She goes over roundabouts pretty much straight. No, we're not going there. Not in a car. Not in any kind of car.
Do you know what my wife says to me, the cheeky sod? Every time I come up to a parallel park in a parking space, she always says, do you want me to park for you?
Is that because you got one of them cars with that automatic thing and she just wants to play with gadget?
No, we ain't that rich. No way. But she always says to me, because I drive an estate and it's a little bit longer than your average. It's a Mondeo estate and they're built like tanks. And so every time I go in reverse and I can hear reverse sensors going beep, 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 she says, oh, come on, do you want me to park this?
Yeah, she actually does handbrake turn in.
She's actually not that bad. She's not that bad a driver as far as the fairer sex is concerned. I mean, I'm not being sexist when I say that, actually, but you know, get a laugh amongst the lads, I hope. The ladies are going to beat us up.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we'll not say any more on that one before we both get into much trouble. It's not a good idea. So, are you going to fill in, given that in Dom's absence, are you going to take me on in the random statement of great debate this evening?
If you want.
We don't have an adjudicator.
We can adjudicate, that's the thing, yeah.
Maybe we should just make it a debate rather than an adjudication.
We could just do it for shits and giggles, couldn't we?
Yeah, nobody wins. It's a draw. It's just like one of those free for all. It won't count. So Dom will still be 1-0 ahead. So I've got lots of random statements here, which actually do come out at random. So it will be completely random. So for anybody that doesn't know this, we actually did this first time last week. So what will happen is we'll randomly select some statements, completely random. We'll do a coin toss or something like that, rock, paper, scissors or something to determine who goes first and argues for and who goes second and argues against. But the idea is that we take any random statement and whether you agree with it or not, if you're on the for side, you have to argue for that statement. If you're on the against side, you have to argue against. So that can be quite awkward, as Wayne and Dom found out last week when they played against each other. And to be fair, it was a bit of a mauling, wasn't it, mate? Dom was on fire.
It was unscripted, and I got the wrong hand of a toss of a coin, didn't I? I got the wrong.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the thing. It's also unscripted, which is great. There's none of like they do on. I think they do it on some other programs, but with us, it's completely non-scripted. It's one of those statement comes up, oh shit, type of moments where you think, how am I going to do that? Like Everton would play better in red. How do you argue with that one? Apart from the fact that we initially used to play in red, so yep, they nicked that as well as our stadium and. The city is still blue.
And you know what? There's a picture doing the rounds on Facebook. I don't know if you've seen it, but it says the best player to wear a red shirt, and it shows Neville Southall.
Absolutely.
In his Rotterdam goalkeeper shirt. I bet he were well pissed off that he had to wear.
I bet he were pretty pissed off. But a bit like Jordan having to wear pink, I'm guessing. But
yeah, it's not very manly, is it?
I do not like the goalkeeper kits this year. I'm not going to lie. They're not great.
I'm in the minority who don't like the third shirt. I really do not like the third shirt at all.
We certainly don't play well in it, so I've fallen out with it very, very quickly.
Yeah. But I do like the traditional amber. That's for me. That
is honestly the best away shirt we've had in a long time for me. It's a beautiful kit, that one. Absolutely love it.
And then the third, if you wanted to define colours, the third shirt should always either be white or I would love to see a resurgence and a throwback to the navy and salmon stripes as a third kit. That would look amazing. I think I always loved that kit.
Yeah, I did as well. There's the 1-to-1 one was quite nice as well.
Oh, that yellow and dark blue one with the black bars at the top.
That was nice. But can you remember that that sort of? Oh, I think can't remember if it was away or third one. The one which was like salmon but with the blue navy blue sleeves. 1-to-1.
Yes, I tell you what I think about when I'm sure Tommy Gravison and Lee Carsley played in the middle when we had that shirt. I'm sure I can remember them having that. And Gaza.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah,
same
era.
Era, wasn't it? The late Walter Smith, early David Moyes era, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I've got that shirt somewhere as well.
But I bet it's a rare shirt, that, then. You don't see it pop up many places, do you?
No, you don't know. It's one of those definite rare ones. So, shall we have a go at this? It is random.
Rock, paper,
scissors.
Close his eyes, and then we do 1, 2, 3, and then we do the show. And then wait 2 seconds and open your eyes, yeah?
Yep. Let's go.
Go on then, count us.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, I've got to do it again.
Oh.
Both scissors. Go on then, ready? Count again.
1, 2, 3. Oh, you're kidding me, aren't you?
All right, then again.
Right. 1, 2, 3.
Hey!
Oh.
It's about time I won something.
Yeah, that's true. That means you're actually on the 4 side, first of all, then, if we do that. So let's completely... I've got them all up here. So, completely at random... When I get my my right things on. So, got about 30 seconds to a minute to debate this one. So, first one is...
Oh, you give me a hard one. You give me a really hard one. All right, my heart's saying yes. I suppose if I'm going to have to be for this argument, my head's saying yes as well. I think if we turn up against Man City, then the cup is definitely ours for the taking. It doesn't matter who else we're getting any of the next rounds. If we can beat Man City, I think we'll beat anybody else that's put in front of us for the final, without a doubt. Without a doubt. But we've got to turn up. That's the thing. And that's a big ask.
It's a good point, that one. And sort of the against side of that from me would be that it's... While my heart would love to say yes, I think we can go to City, we can get a result, and, we can win the FA Cup this season. I think for me, I don't think we're going to be able to, because City are in massive form at the moment. It's going to be a huge ask, especially with our home form as well. No bones about it. I think it's going to be a hard game, and personally, I think this will be the round that we end up getting knocked out on, because City are just a little bit too good this season, and we're not playing that well.
I hate to say it, but I do agree with you. Honestly, I do.
Nobody's stopping them. No. I think we're both on the same page with that one, aren't we? Both of us, our hearts say yes. We have the ability to win the cup this season. None of us actually think we will, because City are they're pretty much one of the best teams in Europe at the moment, and we're just not operating on that level right now.
I'd have fancied them for the final. That would have been good. If we'd have got them in the final, that could have been anybody's game, because you could have had the hunger and you'd have been on that Wembley pitch. Well, the semi's the same as well, but you could have been on that Wembley pitch, had a really nice day out. Yeah, all right, the fans probably still wouldn't have been around, or they might by that point, come May, I think they might be trailing the 1,000 dinner stand type thing. But that, I don't know, I can't see that working at Wembley, can you?
No, it's good. Yeah. Can you imagine? Hopefully by that time they'll have been able to work something out so that more people can come in. Whether it's like person every 5 seats or something daft like that. Hopefully they can do something. But yeah, I think heart says we'd love it to. Head says probably
bit too much.
Bit too
big
much.
a task for us. Yeah, nothing.
At the moment, I think
sad to say, but
right.
we need to be realistic, don't we? I mean, God, we're probably, because we didn't do the pre-Burnley match podcast, I bet we would have, all 3 of us predicted that we'd have turned Burnley over and beaten them by far as well. So it just shows how realistic we are aiming, and you can't help but get lost in the in the realism of things, can you? When things are going well for us, you say that we're the best team in the Premier League, and then we go and play Fulham or Burnley or Newcastle, and we get embarrassed and we get dropped back down to earth again. So
yeah, that's it. And it's been swings and roundabouts and ups and downs and a rollercoaster season. This one, I think, a bit like last season. It's one of those. We'll look back on these seasons and go,
we're still progress though, Tris. I thought, regardless of what the
definitely,
there's definitely been some progress, and we can definitely see it on the pitch, can't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we are. It's sort of started to highlight that we are just a few players away now from those, that next stage, and we know we're not there yet. At least the realistic Evertonians do. We know we're not the finished article. We know we're still a work in progress. We know we've got to add strength in depth. I think that's one of the reasons why, personally, I don't think we're quite ready for Europe this season. I don't think our squad's big enough.
I think in the last podcast.
Yeah, I'd love to be in Europe, and I guess missing out on that would be, do we lose players like Richarlison, etc., which we need to try and keep hold of? hopefully we've made enough progress to move in the right direction to keep hold of them. But who knows? Who knows?
Exactly. Who knows? Who knows? Next.
So it's for me to argue for this one and for Wayne to argue against. So let's have a look what we've got. Ooh. We were just speaking about him. So Richarlison is world class. I think he is. I think he's a damn good player. We spoke about that. He's been courted by the likes of Barcelona. Real Madrid have been taking a look at him as well. He plays for Brazil. He is the main man from Brazil at the moment. He's our little Ronaldo, if you like, or Ronaldinho, whatever it is. Our next Neymar. He's on his day. He is a world beater. We've seen it with some of the finishing he's done this season. When he's on his day, working from that left as centre forward, he is what I would class as world class, and he's one of our better players within the Everton side for me. Certainly somebody that we need to keep hold of. For me, he's world class. Simple.
Fair one. I'm going to find it very difficult to offer an argument against that one. But what I can say is he's not Messi, he's not Ronaldo, he's not Mbappe. So really, is he world class? Is he banging on the door to be world class, but not quite yet? Maybe. He still needs a lot of work to his game. He needs to learn to stay on his feet. He needs to learn how to smile. he needs to learn how to hold the ball up a bit better, because yes, when he plays out on the left, he's brilliant because he's great at dribbling and running at players, but he doesn't hold the ball up in the centre as good as what DCL does, and he needs to maybe work a bit more of that into his game. So yeah, you could say he is world class, and like you say, on his day he's a world beater, but there's some other times where you think you question it and you think, really, is that the same player that played last week? So he's inconsistent a little bit. But I don't know whether it's to do with the fact that he's getting used to a new system with Ancelotti, and that Carlo wants him to play in certain roles, because he likes to interchange positions with people. He likes people to be quite fluid in the way he likes to be able to just point to the left and tell him to get over on the left without having to do anything, and just seamlessly have a seamless transition to it. And I think he struggles with it. If you put Richarlison in the middle, he is knocking on the door to be the second centre forward or the false nine or whatever you want him to be. But he just needs to work. He needs to work a little bit harder on his game. He needs to work a bit harder on staying on his feet. Yeah, draw foul in the right positions. That's good, but not every time. And a lot of times when you think he could have laid a pass on for somebody, he's greedy and he shoots it over the bar or wide. So there's a little bits before he becomes a complete centre forward or the complete attacker, shall we say?
Yeah, and I think that's one of those, isn't it, where you can argue against and you can argue it for, and it falls actually somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And realistically, it does fall on both sides. He's not up there at the moment with those likes of your Mbappe and your Messi, and he probably never will be. They're amazing players, but he's bloody good, and he's probably one of the best we've had in a long, long time.
And dare I say it, Mane. I know he's a red, but I would put Mane up as almost as world class as well. You can't argue
absolutely.
with that at all.
You can't. You can't.
And even Salah. I mean, as much as I dislike him as a player, Salah's a great player.
And if you think
he hasn't been Premier League top scorer for 3 seasons in a row, or whatever, for nothing, has he?
Do you know what? I reckon Richarlison could give Salah a bit of a run for his money in terms of the gold medal for diving at the next Olympics.
Well, yeah, that's where they're similarly,
equipped.
They're similarly equipped, yeah.
Turns out there's a sniper at Goodison. He's just not quite as good as the one at Anfield.
But the thing is, Liverpool never tried to play Salah anywhere but on the right, have they? They tend to keep him where he wants to be, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
They don't tell him where he's got to go. He kind of calls the shots on that, doesn't he? And he insists.
He doesn't. Richarlison's a little bit more adaptive than that, because obviously we've seen him. He plays on the left. He can play up front. We've also seen him on the right quite a lot as well. He can also drop back into that number 10 position as well, which he's done just a couple of times for us.
Gilfie spot, yeah.
So yeah, he's pretty versatile. Shall we go for the next one?
Yep, do it.
So this is you 4 and me against. That's one of Dom's.
Oh my good God.
Oh, no, you're going to win this one just for making an argument on that one.
I wish I'd have lost that rock, paper, scissors, I tell you. Alex Iwobi is the best crosser of the ball since David Beckham. Yeah, he's yeah. Since David Beckham when he was 10 years old. He's the best crosser of the ball since David Beckham when he was 10-year old. It's been 30 seconds up yet.
If you want it to be. You've not really got much to say on that one.
No, absolutely
That would have been a bloody hard one to... Oh, so, let's argue against it then. So, Iwobi, I'm sorry, but he is not the best crosser of the ball. He's not even the best crosser of anything, to be fair, if you think about it. The only thing that probably actually crosses his eyes. And Diane Abbott's probably got the better of him on that one. She's probably a better footballer as well. She can probably play football better than he can. Do you know what? If he was a cross-dresser, he'd still get beaten in that team by Tom Davis. I'm trying to think of other things that might be cross. If he was a crossbreed, he'd be a Shih Tzu. No, I will give him some credit, though. He can actually cross his legs, usually when he's running with the ball and then fall over it.
Do you know what? Do you know what I don't understand about him, though? He does work. He grafts. But
he grafts, that's it.
He hasn't got an end product. He runs. He
run.
Runs
oh, yeah. Straight into... Do you know what? Maybe he's just really, really clever. And actually, maybe we're not giving him enough credit. Maybe it's like a stealth ball where everybody's actually thinking he's going to play that ball straight into the middle. And all the players are expecting it. And then he just completely confuses everybody by playing first man. Maybe it's like one of those things that him and Theo Walcott devised when they were at Arsenal or something like that to, do that.
I think one day, you've heard about the story of the boy who cried wolf. One day we're going to go somewhere and he's going to be dribbling the ball down the left. And he's going to be about where Vinnie Samways was in the Charity Shield in '95, and he's going to go hit a cross like Samways did. And he's going to curl it, and so going to be a worldie.
Maybe, you never know. I bet Arsenal are absolutely laughing their asses off at us. First Walcott, who couldn't cross a ball, now he will be as well. But maybe he is actually just genius. Because now and again you see him, he's like they're all running into a box, ready to steam him with header. DCL's ready to get on end of it, Duncan Ferguson-esque, and he just completely confuses everybody except the opposition players. And maybe that's part of his genius. He plays it to someone in the opposite colour because they're not expecting it. And if he doesn't actually see that ball's on, maybe he tries to... We've all seen him. He either doesn't hit the first man, or it goes way beyond. Maybe he's actually trying to ping it off the corner post back into the people on the far side. And maybe it's just genius. Maybe that's what he does.
Or maybe we just need to find somebody else who's better equipped in that position.
That's going to be the easiest thing. He's
they say that we haven't replaced anybody in the centre since Lukaku. Well, I can safely say we haven't replaced anybody on the left side. Well, all right, then he can play on the right and the left, he will be. But I'm saying since Pienaar, really, that type of player. Really. Do
you know what? He had them few really good games.
But Pienaar was brilliant on the left.
Oh, him and Baines were outstanding, and
awesome.
No matter who you put in front of Dean, they've not got that same relationship that they had.
And yet, the other thing as well, we're still quite strong down the left when we've got Dean, and we've got we have Godfrey playing at left back and Dean playing a little bit further forward, on the pitch and stuff. But you know what? For years, I think we've been weak down the right hand side. I mean, Coleman's lost lots of pace now, and there's nobody in the right midfield or right attack areas other than James, which keeping fit nowadays is becoming a task, isn't it? But other than James, you ain't got anybody who's going to dominate that right hand side, and I think we get exploited a lot down that right hand side because of it.
We do,
and definitely. We have been for years, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at Iwobi, he had them good few games, didn't he? Sort of middle of the season where we thought, hang on a minute, we've actually found his position here. Everybody expected him to be shit, and he actually had some blinding games, which was great for him. But since then, it's just not showed up. But you're right, we haven't had that right hand side for a long time.
This is what frustrates me even more, when I know that he has had good games and he can do it. So why is he not doing it consistently week in, week out? This is the thing. He needs to ring Shandy van der Meijden up and ask him how.
I was just going to say he's no Andy van der Meijden, is he? I mean,
I'm going to work that into next week's questions.
I can't actually work out who was worst or best. I really can't.
No, I can't either. You've got me stumped there, mate. You've got me stumped.
Oh, do you know what? I've actually laughed that much at that one. I'm going to have to go for a tinkle, mate. Are you all right to...
Yeah.
I hate admitting that on a podcast that I need to go for a tinkle,
Right.
but if I don't, I'm going to wet myself on like live stream, and that's not a good look.
What do I say to people? Do I want to say?
Do you know what? I'm gonna say, I think you should say something. I think you should try and argue on this one just while I'm briefly gone. What do you think?
Right.
And then I'll
Go
I'll
on.
only be 30. I'll only be
Chuck
30
it up.
seconds.
Chuck it up then.
Go on then.
Sean Dyche is a better manager than Carlo. Sean Dyche is a better manager than Carlo. Really? Really? So, Sean Dyche is a better manager than Carlo. Whilst Tris is having a tinkle, let's pour over this and let's see if I have an argument that supports that. Really, do I have an argument that supports it? I suppose his Premiership pedigree is okay. He's quite experienced in the Premier League. I think 6 or 7 seasons he's had experience in there. But then, Carlo's just come in and won stuff straight away with Chelsea. He didn't have to play the dogs of war style football that Sean Dyche does. I haven't got anything to argue with this one at all. There's no argument at all. This is a difficult one. It's a difficult one to try and say. You look at the previous honours that Sean Dyche has had. What's he had? A couple of championship titles or playoff wins, maybe, under his belt, and that's about it. Did they even win a championship title? I don't know. I'm the stat man normally, and I should know this. In fact, I could just go into sneakily going while he's not here. Sean Dyche. Good old Wikipedia. Let's see if I can get something out of this. Let's see if I can try and get something that justifies him being better than Carlo. I don't think he will be. He's managed Watford and Burnley, so yeah, he's only had two club man, very loyal. Not in his playing days, obviously, but in his managerial days. His win percentage is 37.17% at Burnley. Should I head him with Carlo? Let's see. Let's have a look at that. Good old Wikipedia. So bring Carlo Ancelotti up. I'll be able to tell you then. Carlo Ancelotti, because I could actually get him on this technicality. Can't even spell Ancelotti right. There you go. Apologies for the delay, folks, if you're watching. Carlo Ancelotti. So let's have a look. So Milan, Chelsea. There should be a table at the bottom. I'm hoping there is.
Are you getting your stats out?
Yeah, I am. I'm trying my best to justify why it's better. Let's have a look at his win percentage for Everton. Come on. We've got 37% to beat. Oh, do you know what? No, Carlo Ancelotti. I can't even argue with this one. I mean, this is incredible. The win percent's right. Carlo Ancelotti had a same win percent at his first club called at Regina back in 1995. He was there for one season and he had a 37.78 win percent, which is better still than the complete Burnley 9 years that Sean Dyche has had at Burnley, which is 37.17%. So he's still, I can't do it. I can't defeat it. His win percentage for Everton so far is 50%.
Didn't Sean Dyche play for like 7 or 8 years at Chesterfield?
I think he did. He was a bit.
So that therefore
player.
we're going to call that as Yorkshire, even though technically it's not quite Yorkshire. It's kind of borderline Derbyshire. But we'll call that Yorkshire. That's a point to Sean Dyche. That's the only reason. And he's ginger power.
Mates. No, I've got mates from Chesterfield, and they'll be thoroughly pissed off if we grouped him in with our riffraff lot in Yorkshire. They're definitely North Derbyshire.
Right, and to be fair, anybody
I know it's near Sheffield,
anybody south of Chesterfield is classed as the South.
We're Midlands. Probably something like that. Yeah, you're right. He did have 1990 to 97. He played at Chesterfield. 231 appearances he had with them. But I mean, looking at even the win percentage, right? Listen to this. This is mind blowing. This, right? So Carlo Ancelotti's first win percentage, whilst he was a junior manager for Regina, who was his first club, right? And I think they were the Italian sort of whipping boys, weren't they, in Serie A back in the 90s? They were yo-yoing up and down between Serie A and Serie B, right? He had a 37.78% win percentage, right, which is better than the overall one for Sean Dyche. But at his peak, he had 74.79% win percent at Real Madrid, which is incredible. A 70% win percentage for Bayern Munich. Even a 61.47 at Chelsea and 63.64 at Paris Saint-Germain. That is
wow,
and he got sacked from Napoli for having a 52% win percentage, which is better than our own win percentage. So incredible stats, and I cannot argue that. I can't argue it all. I can't argue something for to say that Sean Dyche is better than Ancelotti because statistically he isn't even.
But you say that, but they managed to outplay us for 90 minutes and beat us 2-0.
Well, they did, but that were us. I'm blaming
that were our fault, yeah.
How do we not theirs? We basically gifted them the ball all the time. We played like we have been playing at home, where we're sitting back and letting them dominate possession. A lot of that wasn't. I bet. I mean, any statistician and video analyst worth the salt for any club would pick up on that and be able to exploit that to us and say, this is how Everton play at home. This is what we've got to do it. So basically, it's not all of Sean Dyche's doing. It might be a little bit of his tactical nous, but his video analysts that he has in his backroom staff will have told him this.
Yeah.
They'll have brought that.
No,
to
you're
his
right.
attention,
Yeah.
So. Come on, then, your turn.
My turn. Oh God. So.
Nice and easy.
Yep, Sean Dyche is a better manager than Carlo, and I've got to argue against it. Well, you've just done it for me. I don't even need 30 seconds. You've just completely unfolded your own argument and just done that for me. It's impossible. You've got to look at Carlo's record, haven't you?
Is this another one of Dom's, by the way? Is this another one of Dom's?
No, this was actually popped to us by someone on Instagram. This one.
No way. Anybody on the Everton pages? Anybody we know? Can we give them credit?
No. Oh. I've got a funny feeling it was a Burnley fan.
Oh, what?
So we're not going to give him any credit for that.
All right. Fair enough.
Speaking of managers, let's go for this one. So I've got to argue against that. Okay.
No, you've got to argue for it.
Oh, you're right. I have got to argue. Oh God. So he deserved to get the sack from Sheffield United. So yes, he probably did, based upon the performances which they've done. They've been absolutely dire. You talk about whipping boys in the Serie A. They've been the whipping boys of the Premier League this season. Yeah. From last season to this season, they are literally like two completely separate teams. It's literally like he's lost the dressing room. They're just not playing for him at all. And after every game, he likes to have a good whinge about the referee and about luck and about it not going his way, and his players are shit. So he deserves to get sacked for that reason. And it's just purely down to the fact that the results just haven't been there and they haven't improved. Strangely enough, they didn't improve this last weekend either. They got worse without him. So yeah, I'm going to pass that over to you because I think this is something that we can probably debate all day. This one, it's one of those heart versus head situations, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's hard to put a counter against what you said there but I mean, if you look at it from somebody who's ruling with the heart, then I don't believe anybody deserves. It's never nice when a football manager loses a job, apart from Klopp, but apart from Jurgen. If he lost his job tomorrow, I think I'd have a party. But nobody else. Being a human being and all that, it's not nice when they lose a job, is it? And we did debate about Sheffield United's drop off in form being down to a lot of it down to losing personnel as well. The man between the sticks, for starts, I think he.
I thought that's a huge loss
greatly responsible for why they didn't ship so many goals last season.
Yeah,
and they were
I agree with that.
They were like the Sheffield United of old when they had Simon Tracy in goal and who were manager now.
Dave Bassett.
Dave Bassett, that's it.
Dave Bassett. Yeah, when they had like.
He was a hard bastard. He was a proper hard bastard, didn't he?
When they had like Brian Dean up front.
He brought the Wimbledon mentality into Sheffield United, and they were become one of the feared teams, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely. With like Brian Dean up front, weren't it, at that point as well? And they were bloody good at that time as well. I think I remember. Oh God, what was it called? There was a TV program which was actually made about their sort of successors under Dave Bassett. And stuff there in his first spell. I think he came back for a second spell, didn't he, at some point, which wasn't quite as successful. But I think with Chris Wilder, you've got to look at what he actually. I mean, he's a Sheffield United fan for a start, but you've also got to look at.
Really?
I believe so. Yeah, but you've also. you've also got to look at what he's actually done. It's like successive promotions with a team, and then as soon as the form drops off, it just shows you the difference in sort of mentality. Football is a business at the end of the day, and that's what I think we've got to realise. The form and everything else from a business perspective wasn't there, but I don't think any Sheffield United fans that I know, and I know quite a few, would have actually wanted him to get sacked. I think the difference from last season to this season, some of the players that brought in just haven't got going. I think it's a difficult one, that one. I personally think from the Blades perspective, they're going down anyway. There's no way they're going to get saved this season. They're going into Championship. Who better to actually manage them in the Championship than Chris Wilder, who got them promoted in the first place? I think if they'd have stuck with him,
had a bit of loyalty with him, but it was the same situation we were facing when things weren't going right with Silva. Everybody, me included, I'll put my hand up and say that I was one of them. That when we started dropping off, saying, "Look, we can't sustain our football if we keep this manager. We have to get rid." And I was saying that, and it's the first time I've ever called for a manager to be sacked. I didn't want Bobby Brownshaw's to be sacked. I always thought that somewhere deep down he would turn things around. Yeah, okay, I haven't invested millions of pounds into that club, so therefore I have no right to show any loyalty towards him or any ruthlessness towards him. But they did the right thing, I think they did. I think Allardyce was a little bit hard done by, and I think I'm in the minority of Evertonians who say that. I think he was a little bit hard done by because they offered him a 2-year contract. Basically, he did his job that he came in to do, got us out of the shit. They didn't give him a proper full transfer window to operate in, a summer transfer and a prepare for pre-season. Things could have been different. You never know.
Yeah, true.
It's something we'll never find out, isn't it? It's something we'll never find out. But do you know what? I'm so glad where we are now. I would not swap our manager for the world. But
no, I think that there is a difference, though. I think between the likes of Silva and Chris Wilder at Sheffield United, in the fact that Chris Wilder has shown what he can actually do at Sheffield United. He's actually proven that he can take them from League One up to the Championship and then up to the Premiership as well. And he kept them in the Premiership in season 1. And people don't become a manager and a bad manager overnight or in the space of a season. Whereas Marco Silva,
it's the relationship between the players that deteriorates, I think, and a lot of that is player power. Like we talked about before, player power. If you have a strained relation with your team, it only gets worse. It never gets better. Never gets better.
If you lose the dressing room, that's it. There's no way they're going to get that back. But that said, his players did seem to want to play for him. It just wasn't working. It wasn't even that they were playing badly. It was just the results weren't working. The goalkeeper was shipping a lot of goals as well. But I have to be honest, I feel a bit sorry for him. My family all being Blades, I can kind of see that side of it.
It was a good servant of Sheffield United because, he turned out for him 105 times in the league, so he was a great servant to him. Millers will remember him more because he played for Rotherham as well, of course, didn't he? He committed the carnal sin that you shouldn't do, He went across to the dark side, But then he came back, I think in the 2000s he retired. He's quite a young lad, isn't he? So he's got age on his side. And I think, myself, he'll drop back down to Championship and he'll pick someone else up and he'll have a good, successful run with them as well.
Yeah. As long as he don't switch over to blue side of Sheffield, I think he'll be fine. But yeah, I think, sadly, the Blades are definitely relegated this season. I think that's
the writing's on the wall for them. There's no way out. And I dare say Sam Allardyce is going to fail for the first time ever. He's never been relegated with a team. And
no, he hasn't.
That's a shocker, and I'd feel sick for him. I really would. Like I say, I'm in the minority of people. Yeah, we call him gravy tits, pisto tits, or whatever, And he does have an odd relationship with the press and things like that, But all in all, I think he does a job. He does an amazing job. Whatever job he's tasked to do, he does. Generally, I think it just might have been a little bit too late with West Brom this time.
Yeah, I don't think they've also got the quality of players either as well. Not the likes of the ones which is. We know Allardyce is a good manager. We've seen it, when he managed to get Bolton up to where he got Bolton before, obviously all the recent troubles and stuff like that. And he's done well with teams, and he has got them playing in that defensive way that it's boring as hell, but it grinds out results. And his philosophy has always been, if a team doesn't score against you, you're getting something out of that game. And if you can go up the other end and manage to grab a goal, you're going to get 3 points rather than 1, and that's essentially what keeps teams in it. That's what happens, but it's just not happened for him at West Brom. I just don't think this is the time where that legacy of survival manager is going to come to an end.
I totally agree with you. But it's never nice, is it, to see any manager losing the job and things. And going back to Chris Wilder, it's all an experience for him because this is the first time he's managed in the Premier League as well, wasn't it? He'd never been. He'd been with was it Halifax Town? He used to be a manager of Halifax Town at some point.
I think it was, yeah.
And some other clubs he has done. A couple of Oxford United, I think, were another one that he managed. And we're talking in a young manager, so he's managed in a lot of the different divisions. I think maybe he's done all 4 divisions. I don't know, all 4 pro divisions. I can't remember. It'd be worth looking that up for a stat, to see if.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it just with Sheffield United, he's done League One, Championship, and Premiership, so the 3 divisions there, just with that one team. And I think he has been a bit victim of second season syndrome, which has happened to a lot of teams. They've just not quite got that financial clout to.
It's so unforgiving in the Premier League as well, and it's so unforgiving as a second season.
Yeah.
Look what's happening with Liverpool now. Damn, what a shame.
What a shame, yeah.
But it has happened, and I've seen teams like Reading and Charlton come up from the Championship and absolutely barnstorm the first season, and then the second season they go down.
Yeah, look at Huddersfield.
Yeah, Bradford City, Huddersfield and other teams,
Yeah, and they just don't have that staying power, I guess, is what we're calling it, isn't it? After that first season, what's going to happen? I mean, is this going to happen to Leeds next season? A lot of Leeds fans will say, no, we're the best team in Europe, blah, 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 blah. But, they're still going to have to deal with that. Now, teams are going to be understanding and analysing how Bielsa actually puts that team out, that attacking style. And, they started the season blindingly well. Credit to them. But now they're starting to fall back down, and they're safe. They're not going to go down this season. I think they're pretty much safe. There's too much of a gap between the ones below them. But is that going to happen when it comes to the next season? Who knows? I don't know. But
who knows? Exactly. We've got another one now, then, or is that?
We've got one more, but just looking at it here, because with it being the last one from the randomizer, I think we'll save that one
for Dom.
We'll save that one.
Yeah, okay.
It'll be an interesting one either way with that one, I think. So we'll stick that back in maybe in a few weeks' time or whatever at a random point. So let's obviously big game coming up this weekend for us. We've touched on it already within that first section of the Great Debate. I'm going to do a fancy voiceover for that. The Great Debate.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've obviously got Man City up next. FA Cup quarters. Really, really tough game. And if we're being realistic, I think we both mentioned it earlier, none of us can actually sort of see us getting anything out of that game realistically. We're going into it thinking we're going to get beat, which is probably not the way we should be going into it, because we should always be confident we can beat any team on the day, but they're just so good, aren't they?
Do you think there's a part of our team that's thinking the exact same thing as us, though, and having a little bit of, oh, God,
Yeah, I hopefully Carlo can, set them up in that way that he did against the likes of Liverpool and stuff like that for us to go and get a result. Although now, looking at Liverpool's form, I'm not so sure that's what actually happened. I think it was just that they were so poor at home and we were the better team on the day. I don't think there was any mentality thing going on there, that anything was different, that we set up with some mentality that we will be able to beat them type of thing. I think it was just that they're poor, we were better. And a lot better than they were on the day. But and we can beat anybody on the day with a little bit of luck and a little bit of, the referee decisions going our way and stuff like that. And if we can manage to hold out, but they are just so good, how can we contain that?
Yeah, I mean, we can't discredit our performance. We did play out of our skin still against Liverpool, but
we played brilliantly.
I do think we did play better, but I think luck was on our side a little bit because we were catching them on a bad run, and had we not, then like you say, it could have been a different story, and it could have easily gone the other way. It could have easily gone the other way had they got an early goal or something like that. But
and imagine if Jordan Pickford hadn't actually assassinated Virgil van Dijk, it could have all been totally different.
Yeah, exactly. The gift that keeps on giving.
Oh yes, absolutely. But yeah, I just think it's going to be a really difficult game for us, and I'd love to see us move through into the semi-finals. I think you said it earlier, actually, if we can manage to get past City by a little bit of luck, or by putting in a random performance which is just outstanding, or they're having a bad game, because it is a cup game. That is a bit of a leveler, no matter what level you're playing at. If we can manage to get through it, who knows? I think if we can get through that, we've got a good crack at that trophy. But
Absolutely.
this is that hurdle. I'd rather play him now than get through to the final and play him at final, if I'm honestly.
It would feel like it's the final, and if I were Carlo, I'd be going out and saying to him, imagine this is the final, think of this as the final, because if you know, if you put on a good, strong enough performance and top of Man City, the other teams will be around us that end up in the pot for the semis will be rattled a little bit by it, won't they?
Yeah, they won't want to come and play us if we can dispatch
with
City.
Yeah, exactly. And like you say, we're beating the best team in the Premier League that's been put in front of us.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the cup, isn't it? It doesn't matter who you're playing, you've still got to beat the best at some point, whether it be in the first round or whether it be in the final. To win that, some people can have an easier run in to it than other people, but when it comes down to those final stages, you're playing teams which have got that far on merit, and we're there as well. We've got there on merit, but we've still got to play that team and beat the teams like Manchester City if we want to win that trophy, and that's the same of any cup. So it's
absolutely, yeah, totally.
We shouldn't be scared of them. We shouldn't be going in there scared of them. On our day, we can beat them. We've proven that in recent seasons, even when we've not got a great team and a great manager in charge. But they are just on fire.
We shouldn't be, but you just can't help it, can you not, with Man City?
No.
Not the way they are. You can't take that away from them. They are going to, without a doubt, they're going to run away with the league. That's already pretty much written in the stars, isn't it? For them?
It is.
But I just hope we put, like we all say, me, you, and Dom all say the same thing, and Dom's dad exactly the same thing. You don't care if they lose if they've put a really hearty battle in and really shown some courage and stood up to them. We could get battered 5-0 by them, but if we've gone for every ball we possibly could and we've tried to cover as much of the grass as we have, and created some chances instead of just lying down and just letting them whip us to death, then
that's it. As a football fan, you don't mind. Well, nobody likes losing, but we can accept being beaten by a better team. But if we just roll over and think, they're better than us, we don't want to do that. We need to go in and we need to give it a go. If we lose, we lose.
We need to treat it like it's the final, like I said, because that will be the key to unlocking our FA Cup dream since 1995. Is to win Man City. It doesn't matter what we do in the semi and the final. I don't think if we can overcome Man City, I think the games, providing you go into them with a similar mentality, then we can do it. We can absolutely do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you say that about the thing. What are you thinking to the upcoming England games that are about to happen? We've got some really tough opponents, Do
you know? I've not really paid that much attention to who we're actually up against, if I'm honest.
Well, we got San Marino on Thursday.
Bloody hell! Can you remember that? Can you remember when we needed to qualify for? God, where was it? Was it Mexico?
I know which game you're talking about. I know which game you're going to say. They scored in 15 seconds to make it 1-0, and I think we had 7 back.
We literally had to score. I think it was like 12 or something like that to actually be able to stand a chance of qualifying. I think we beat them like 6-1 or something daft like that. Yeah, that's the only time I can remember that. Or playing on Sensible Soccer on my old Amiga computer in San Marino.
It was for USA 94, I think. I think it was USA 94, and we didn't qualify. And Graham Taylor were manager. Turniphead were manager of him. Bless him. Yeah. Bless his soul, because he's no longer with us. But
because we were all cheering on Republic of Ireland in that one, because with Jack Charlton, because we couldn't get through.
Yeah, and I quite liked Nigeria, and they had a certain Daniel Amakachi in their team, and
they did.
Off the back of that, didn't we? Because he had such a good World Cup, and he turned out to be okay. We were good in flashes, but I can never say that he'd be legendary, but he will, because he wrote his own history, didn't he? With the FA Cup and stuff, But I mean, other than that, he did score a few goals, but he was never the explosive player that we thought he were going to be, were he? Sadly.
No.
But yeah, so we've got we've got San Marino on the 25th. We've got Albania on the 28th.
Do you know? I kind of.
Tell you what, I almost
about the Albania team. I almost hate these games though, because they usually end up being really boring. Either we run away with it, and it's just goal after goal after goal, or it's a 0-0 or a 1-1, and we just do something stupid. And actually knowing the quality of the opposition we're up against, do you know what? I'm kind of happy Michael Keane's sort of not got in there, as long as it's not him being taken out of the equation for the actual World Cup, exactly. And it is just more, well, there's no point putting him at risk against little teams like that, 'cause we're already through. For Dominic, it's a good run. It gives him a chance. It's another couple of caps potentially for him in an England shirt. Gets his confidence up.
He has earned it.
He has, yeah, definitely. And it gives Southgate a chance of working out how he plays with the likes of Kane and stuff like that as well. Whereas he probably already knows a fit Michael Keane is going to come into that squad and do a job regardless. He doesn't actually need to look at him. Where there's quite a lot of young players in the squad that he's chosen. So, yeah, it's going to be what it's going to be. I've got to be honest, I probably won't even be watching him.
Do you know what? I might watch the San Marino one just to see how many goals we can get past them. I like a goal fest, and San Marino are the minnows of this competition out there. I like the likes of Luxembourg and Liechtenstein and San Marino. They're just teams that just are used to getting battered, and I just like to see the underdogs try and make something out of this and try and embarrass England. And I'm English and proud, and I'll always be English and proud. But I just like to see the little minnows, the little plucky minnows, have a go, because, like I say, we've got Albania, and then the third one on the 31st of March, Wednesday the 31st of March, is against Poland. And that's going to be a tricky one.
That's going to be a tricky one.
A bit of an unknown quantity out of Poland. We've also got Croatia in our group as well, which is they're an unknown quantity. We've had some battles and run-ins with them in the past.
Oh yeah.
So there we go. Croatia. I'm getting confused here. We've got these are World Cup qualifiers that we're doing now. So
yeah, they are. Yeah.
So San Marino and Albania and Poland are in our group, but then you've got, I think, England, Austria. I think that might be a friendly, and then you've got Romania, which is I believe that's a friendly as well, and then you've got the Euro qualifiers. How many times have you seen the World Cup? I know it's because of COVID.
I think this is where I'm actually
side by side.
I think that's where I'm getting really confused, because I said earlier, I think we're already through, but we're actually through to the Euros, aren't we? Not through to the World Cup. Is that right?
No.
Everything's sort of like merging into one, and I've completely forgot where we actually are.
You are right. You are right. Right. So the one against San Marino is the first World Cup qualifying game of 10 matches that we're going to play. So yeah, you are right. Because we have this Euro League as well, which I don't get it.
Yeah, it's just
I don't get that
because everything's been sort of like elongated and spread out and everything else. It's hard to work out exactly where we are. I knew we got through to Euros, but I kind of forget in my head that we've not played that. That's coming up.
What is that stupid UEFA competition that they're running now? That Nations League or whatever?
Oh, Nations League! I don't get it. It's just a stupid mid-season.
If anybody's
injury fest, if you want.
If there's anybody listening, even if you're not watching this live, right, tell me something constructive that this competition is doing for our national team, other than just trying to stretch things out and fill in the gaps. Because I don't believe it. What do you win at the end of it? What do you actually win? Do you actually do win?
God knows.
Because I think it's like this on performances of teams. I think they've got like Group A1, A2, A3, and then you've got B1, B2, B3 rated teams, and basically they drop down or they get promoted into these leagues or whatever.
Yeah, it's just a bit.
Doesn't seem to be any end in sight.
It's a bit pointless. I think the idea is to get more competitive European games in, but who really cares?
Exactly.
What we want is we want Euros.
Bollocks.
It is, yeah. We want Euros, we want World Cup, so we can put flags on our cars and hang them outside of our windows and put bunting on our houses and stuff like that. Yeah. Wear our England shirts with pride, go to the pub, get pissed on really rubbish lager, and just watch a game. That's what we want to do.
Watch us lose to Romania or Croatia. In typical England fashion. Or draw against Algeria.
But that's what the international tournaments are about. It's about bringing a nation together, and whether you're a football fan or not, most people tend to get into the spirit of it and stuff like. I mean, look at what happened with the last World Cup. We literally, like, third game in, we were playing so well for a change, and we won a bloody penalty shootout that we were all like, "It's coming home again." And
I was singing it on stage. I was singing that song to 3 lines on a shirt up until we met Croatia in the semis. Yeah, but We're gutted about that. To be fair, I really was gutted. I had high hopes because the bigger teams, or the alleged bigger teams, were eliminated early doors, so it paved the way for people like England to get in there, didn't it? You know,
Yeah.
what was it, Spain and Germany and Argentina and all them, they all flopped on their asses, didn't they? They didn't do anything. Italy as well, another one. In fact, I don't even think Italy even got out of the group, did they? Or did they even qualify for this one? They didn't qualify for it.
I don't think they did. I don't think they did.
I don't think they did at all. Germany didn't get out of the group. A team that who expected to walk with it didn't.
Yeah, we had literally the best chance we could have had and made a bit of a meal of it. Yeah, I'm just looking at the fixtures because it starts on 11th of June. Does the Euros, which is now Euro 21. So opens with Turkey versus Italy. Then we've got Wales, Switzerland, Denmark, Finland, Belgium, Russia. That'll be a good game, that one. Belgium, Russia. And then our first game is Croatia on Sunday, 13th of June at Wembley. So it's a home tie, which is great. At England at Wembley within the Euro finals against Croatia. 2:00 kickoff. That's a good couple of hours to get plenty of jars in, which will be good. We've also got
Scotland.
Scotland
on the 18th of June.
Oh yes,
that is going to be a right lock of.
And it's
a game that I do like watching, and it's at Wembley.
At Wembley again. It's really strange seeing all these games for sort of this European Championship sort of spread out across multiple sort of cities, multiple countries as well. Because you look at the game in Group D on that Friday, 18th of June. So the one at Hampden Park in Glasgow was the Croatia-Czech Republic game. And then we're obviously playing at Wembley. I'm assuming later on that we'll play...
Two of our group games at Wembley, aren't they?
Yeah.
2 out of 3, that's a bit dodgy, that.
Scotland have got Croatia at Hampden Park on the 22nd of June. We've then got Czech Republic at Wembley as well. So that's 3 of our games at Wembley.
Have we really? That's down as an away match on my screen.
It's down as away, but the stadium is Wembley Stadium, so we're the away team, but it's still played at Wembley Stadium.
So we'll be wearing red at Wembley. That's a good omen. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Just say Wembley Stadium. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of our games are being played at Wembley.
Yeah. In group stages. That's going to be That's going to be weird for England team being in a away dressing room as well at Wembley.
Yeah. Yeah, because of course, even if it's just class it as a neutral away venue, but we'll have to wear red and we'll have to be in the away dressing rooms. That's
the same for that Croatia Scotland one on that same day on 22nd of June.
Croatia, the home team.
They're the home team, but Scotland obviously are playing at Hampden Park. So that's interesting.
They won't have to change the kit colours though, thankfully, because Croatia are red and white squares, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they won't have to do anything like that. But we most likely will against Czech Republic.
Yeah.
To the Czech Republic, they play white with blue and red trim, don't they? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be playing in red there. Oh, we might even play in blue because they like giving that kit out in every now and again, don't they? The blue kit. And I quite like it, not just because.
Oh, I've got a feeling about Euro '96 coming on here at like home games.
Yeah.
They are going to literally.
It's going to feel like Euro '96, isn't it? And
it
especially
is,
as we've got Scotland again in a group match.
So let's have a look where. So one of the last 16. So first in Group A against second in Group C will be played at Wembley. Let's have a look. So first in Group D, which would be one of ours, square Group D, will be playing in Dublin, and second in Group D will be playing in Copenhagen. So that could be Aviva Stadium. Hey, my colleagues will be happy.
I hope we end up playing in Dublin. That would be amazing.
That would be good.
Working
for Aviva by day. I hope I actually managed to get some tickets for that.
Oh yeah,
I hope there could be some.
Maybe I get hospitality one. Yeah.
Hey, that'd be nice.
That's if we're not locked down still.
None of the quarterfinals are played at Wembley.
Are they drawn or is it all mapped out?
Both semi-finals are played at Wembley, and then the final is Wembley.
It's just Euro England with a couple of other stadiums. thrown in for good measure, isn't it?
If we could, can you imagine that? Final at Wembley. Semi-finals at Wembley. I'm actually excited about that now. I've not
Wembley
really
all the way.
looked at it too much.
So we could go Wembley, Dublin, Wembley.
Or Copenhagen, Wembley. So wow, Sunday 11th of July.
We could never leave the British Isles. That would be awesome. Imagine it. We're doing a European competition that's spread out throughout Europe, and yet we never leave our own backyard. That would be awesome. Thinking about that.
No doubt there'll be some issues with us going to Dublin or something like that because of bloody Brexit. Well, we'll leave the politics out of football.
Leave the politics out of it, but I can tell you, if there's anybody watching who wants to know how to do it, just fly to Northern Ireland. Because you can get through the soft border. There's no border control, is there, between the north and the south?
Shh! I can hear black helicopters. Not supposed to say that, Wayne.
Yeah. So who do you think out of all the teams there, do you think can win this then? There's
a few really good teams in there. I think Belgium are obviously.
Portugal always scare me.
Yeah.
Not just because of Ronaldo, they just scare me. Because you know what? For many years, they were a really shit nation at football, weren't they? For many years. After Eusebio died off. So 70s and 80s Portugal were garbage. And then in the 90s, suddenly, bang, they came back out again. Like France, they did a France. France were the same. France were a so-so team for so many years. And then sleeping giants awoke. When's England going to do it? That's what I want to know. When are we going to do it?
Well, when are we going to wake up? So Italy, from Group A, probably the favourites in Group A, but I'm not that worried about Italy. They're not as good as they were. Group B, Belgium, probably the favourites in that one. So Belgium, Denmark. So yeah, there's a few.
Let's have a look, bringing them up now. Look, yeah. So Group A, you've got Turkey, Italy, Wales, Switzerland. So yeah, you're right. Italy's that one. Group B is Belgium, definitely. Group C, the Netherlands.
Well,
and the Ukraine are
damn good. So, yeah, they are.
North Macedonia now, they knows out there. Austria, you can never know, but they've got such a good football league nowadays of Austria, so you never know. England, Croatia, Scotland, Czech Republic, we know about that. Group D.
Yeah. Group E, Spain and Poland. That's a hard group, that.
That's a group of death, is that? Definitely.
If Sweden are on foot,
even Slovakia are good. Slovakia are no pushover.
I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Sweden, football-wise. Just from the era that we were growing up.
I've never forgiven them from '92, Euro '92.
Yeah.
Broke our hearts. Sven-Goran Eriksson of all people as well, I think, wasn't it?
Do you know what? I think Group F is the group of death. France, Germany, Hungary and Portugal.
Oh, shit, there you go. Well, all right. Do you know what? It opens the field a little bit for us if one of them were to go out, one of them three. I know Hungary used to be a world beaters once upon a time, a long time ago, but yeah.
Oh, they're going to be looking like they're going to be the whipping boys of that one, but the underdogs often have a habit, don't they? Particularly in cups, World Cup tournaments and Euros and stuff like that. We always seem to get a couple. Look at Greece, for example. Did absolutely nothing, then went through and won it. Yeah, there's a few.
I'm looking at some of the venues that people are playing at as well. It's either in our group, it's either England or Scotland. In the Netherlands, Ukraine, Austria, and North Macedonia, it's either Romania or Holland. They're a bit random in the way that they're placed, aren't they? And Spain's group, Spain, Sweden, Poland, Slovakia, are either playing in Ireland or Spain. It's proper random. And in Germany, you've got either Germany or Hungary. Well, what were you saying, sorry?
When does Southgate actually name his squad for that?
I've no idea. He's got to name 23, hasn't he? Well, no, he's got to name 30, hasn't he? A provisional squad, and then he's got a deadline 2 weeks before the tournament starts, I think, where he's got to name his 23 that are going with him. I think that's how they work it.
Yeah, just looking. The squad is listed on the UEFA thing, so let's just have a look. So I don't know whether this is finalised.
Is that the national? Is that the national pool, or is that an actual 30 squad?
Yeah, I think it's
for the Euros.
Let's have a look.
It's not for the World Cup qualifiers, is it? Because, like you say, we're getting confused with all these tournaments that are.
Yeah, this is on the Euro Euro 21 sort of website there. So under the actual one, it's got keepers as Nick Pope, Tom Heaton, Pickford, Henderson, and Butland. I don't know.
Whoa! Hang on. Sorry, Chris, for interrupting there, but there's a new keeper that's in the World Cup qualifier squad, isn't there? Young keeper.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
What
That's
do they call him?
coming in place of Pickford.
Yes. Who is it? Who's the guy? I'd like to know who he is. Shit. Let me get the page on.
Yeah, this is an old one because DCL's not listed in there or anything like that. So it's just an old squad listing, possibly from the last games or something like that.
Squad. Let's have a look. Because Nick Pope again, unfairly, I think, has been dropped down to third choice again. It's really odd. England squad announced ahead of World Cup qualifiers. Jesse Lingard earns a call up again. To be fair, he went a bit off the boil, didn't he? Went a bit off the boil, Lingard. Right, show me the final thing. Ah, here we go. Right, goalkeepers, yeah. Nick Pope, Dean Henderson, Sam Johnstone, West Brom.
Yeah, that's the one.
Is it? I've never heard of him. I'm sorry, Baggies fans. I've never ever heard of him. Is he a young lad or is he just Sam Johnstone? Never heard of him.
No, me neither.
Yeah, I agree with what he's done with Alexander Arnold. You know, not putting him in because I think Trippier and Reece James between themselves have pushed him out of that position.
Yeah,
I reckons. I always said that Reece James would be a good player, and Reece James now plays for Chelsea week in, week out. Nobody else can get in ahead of him now, can they, in that position, that right back? So, bye-bye Alexander Arnold, I think. Because he's no spring chicken anymore, is he? How old's Alexander Arnold now? He's coming into his 30s now, isn't he?
I think he's
in his
not.
30s, isn't he?
I don't know if he's that old, is he?
29. Oh, no, sorry, I'm not. I'm thinking of bloody... no, I'm getting confused with Oxlade-Chamberlain there. Another Liverpool one with a double-barrel surname, just to confuse. No. Trent Alexander-Arnold, he's a young lad. I think he's like 23, 24, actually. Thinking about it. No, 22. Yeah, he's only a young lad.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Oxlade-Chamberlain. Sorry, that's who I was thinking of. Sorry.
So all in all, we've got some bloody good football to look up to, even after season ends. You know, that's always a good thing because it's always difficult with things like this, with podcasts and things like that, to try and actually have something to keep talking through apart, other than rubbish transfer rumours and stuff like that throughout the off season and things like that, and playing daft games and things which we would have normally done. I think
between the two of us, mate, and Dom's going to watch this now, and I think between the two of us, I think we've actually got each other back into international football just by having this talk.
Just by having a look.
Wouldn't have otherwise bothered, would we? But I'm actually quite excited by what's coming up now.
Yes, it certainly... Yes, I wasn't either. It's certainly... Because I think it was... You know, it got postponed once. We didn't know what were going to be happening, what with COVID and everything else. And now we're starting to see that, yeah, it is looking like this is going to happen, whether it's with fans or without fans.
Yeah.
It would be a bloody horrible shame, though, if fans weren't allowed in at places like Wembley when we've actually got that opportunity.
Oh, especially in the later stages, if we get through to like the semis or something like that. God.
Oh.
Pissed off. I would have been a bit pissed off there. Anyway, it's been nice to talk about something other than Everton as well.
Other than Everton for a change, yeah.
And not bashing other clubs, you know, just looking at it from a neutral standpoint. You know,
hang on a minute. We've not done any Leeds bashing today. That don't feel normal.
It doesn't.
Tiny little bit of it. Nothing major. That's just not normal for us. As Yorkshiremen.
Did they get battered in the last game? I can't remember now. I think they did, didn't they?
I'm not sure. I try not to pay any attention. It just depends on what sort of like Leeds fans say to me. Oh, we're amazing.
Yeah, best team in Europe as always.
Best team in Europe.
I mean, there are a few exceptions. Exceptions on lots of teams but in the main, I do honestly find that the Leeds lads are totally
delusional.
Deluded. Yeah, they just think they're so much better than they are. Somebody, come on and tell me I'm wrong. And the Leeds fan, if you're watching, I'd welcome any Leeds fan. And do you know what? We'd be respectful towards you and everything. But you try and sell me that. No, they had a good point against Chelsea. That's all right. Yeah, that's all right. They had a good point against Chelsea, and we lost 2-0 to them the week before. So yeah.
Yep.
But they got battered by Moyes' West Ham the week before. It was the week before I was thinking about. They lost 2-0 to West Ham. So.
Sure, we've still got them to play yet, and that's going to be a tough game.
I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to it at all. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think. Have we got them at home? I can't remember.
I think we have.
Oh Jesus!
Which is not good.
Holy cow! That's not good at all. When we come back off the international break, then let me just have a double peek at this. We've got. We haven't got any football for ages. The 5th of April is the next time we play in the league.
It's a long break.
Crystal Palace at home. Oh my God! And then Brighton away from home. I fancy Brighton away. That's going to be all right. Looking forward to the next few games. And then we've got Spurs at home, and they've got an axe to grind against us because we beat them on the opening day, so at their place. So that's going to be a tough one. Arsenal away. I fancy that one as well. I think that's a winnable game. That.
It is, yeah. Especially, particularly where Arsenal play.
We don't win very often there, do we?
No. Historically, over recent years, we've not got many good results against Arsenal at all, really. They used to be. Can you remember that opening day at season when they literally battered us like 7-1? It's just like it's always been one of those teams that I've not looked forward to actually sort of playing, but with how they're playing at the moment, that. Arsenal at the moment are a little bit like we were the past few seasons. They're not a big club. They're not somebody to be worried about anymore. And Arteta's got them. They're a work in progress as well, I think. And they will get there.
Do you know you mentioned about that 7-1, by the way? Do you want to know the story behind that? Apparently,
apart from us getting absolutely battered.
The lads went out and had a party, right? Had a little bit of a party. It wasn't an opening game. It was the last game of the season. And the lads had a bit of a party because they'd qualified for the fourth place Champions League spot. So they basically, Moyes just turned around to them and said, "This is a dead rubber, let's go out and get pissed." And they did. And then they had Arsenal 2 days later, and none of them were. They were all mullered. Some of them were still fucking hungover from the game. That's why we got battered. And it never happened again.
There were one
with an iron fist after that.
There were one where we actually played them on opening game at season and got absolutely battered. We got mullered because I remember listening to it in car, and I were on my way to a gig, and it was one in Wakefield. Oh God, can't remember what club it were now. I can see front at club sitting in car park. It weren't Crigg. It were the other side. But no, not that one. No. Other side, it would be sort of between sort of Wakey and Cass sort of area.
Oh, right, okay. There's loads. Emsworth and all that area.
Oh, bloody hell, it weren't that way. No. We'll not talk about Emsworth clubs.
I'm really missing gigging though, mate. Are you?
I am massively.
Chomping at the bit to get back into it. I've noticed you.
22nd of May. Yeah, 22nd of May. We're due back on stage with the band.
Well. Yeah,
22nd of May. So, and then hopefully a few weeks after as well. That's when it starts to pick up. It's not going to be this sort of the level of gigging that we did before, because obviously it's reschedules and stuff like that. People have got to get them in first, and we're expecting it's going to be a slow sort of end to 2021. But
do you think the budgets will be affected as well? I think it's in our interest to accept them, isn't it, rather than saying no, we're not doing it.
They have been sort of massively sort of impacted based on what we've seen so far. But the problem that we're finding is like with anything in showbiz land. I know we're going a little bit off topic here with that, but me and Wayne are sort of professional singers by trade. So
Triss is I try.
But what we're seeing is obviously venues struggling. But the problem that you'll always get, and I guess this goes in football as well. If you go for go in for lower fees and stuff like that and lower budgets, you'll never get it back up again, and that's the problem. It's a very fine balance between. It's a balance,
yeah. You need to help them out. You need to have a bit of sympathy to start off with to understand what they're going through, and they're having to get back on the feet. But if you look 6 months down the line and that hasn't changed, and there's something wrong, you need to start saying.
Yeah, so I think it's one of them things where sort of you have to expect venues and bookers and stuff to meet you halfway as you're meeting them halfway, and sort of divide that gap and bridge that gap together, because let's be honest, we've all struggled as a result of it, and this podcast has been brilliant for me in terms of getting expressing something and things like that, which is not something that we've been able to do through our normal stage sort of side of things. And yeah, something I hope we can manage to keep going and grow and build as we go.
Like I say, there's a lot of potential to going forwards once we back in the land of being able to meet each other. Is like, meeting up and having a podcast down the pub or whatever. We can do it with smartphones. I'm not bothered.
Goodison.
Have a nice pint. Well, no, Goodison, that can come as well. But I mean, talking like, the August, September sort of style. We could meet somewhere centrally, the three of us, in a pub, beer garden or something. Stick our smartphones on a tripod or something like that, and do a podcast.
Oh, I can't wait to go back. To go back to a beer garden. That's the second place I want to go after having my hair cut.
Do you know what? No, the second place I want to go. It's my favourite restaurant, Estabulo. Gonna go there. My Brazilian all-you-can-eat meat steak, beautiful.
I might have to try
me
that
and my
one.
wife are deeply missing that. If you try it, there's another one called Firenze as well. They're very similar. It's radicchio, that's what they call a style of food. And they come round with meat, and it's all you can eat. It's like different cuts of like fillet steak, sirloin steak, blah blah blah, and you get it how you want it.
The minute you said steak, that's it. I'm sold.
Oh, mate, it's beautiful, honestly. I think it's about 20 quid a head, but you can eat as much of it as you like. And honestly, when you come out of there, you're going to pop. You've got a salad bar and all that kind of stuff as well. I go, fuck that, I'm having the chips, I'm having the mushroom. and then bring as much meat as you can, please.
That's it. Now they can give you the tenner that they've probably paid you to give them a good plug there.
Yeah. Hey, no, well, there's talk as well when all this lockdown starts easing is doing the Eat Out to Help Out again, and I thought that were an amazing scheme, that. And again, it was done timed perfectly, as in people are saying it should be extended. No, bollocks, that's taking the piss because that's somebody's livelihood there. But to encourage people and stimulate the economy again, the government are offering to pay half towards it, then I'm all for it. I think it's brilliant to help the hospitality people out.
Yeah, they've really, as we know from being musicians and stuff, they've really struggled, haven't they? As we talk about football clubs struggling and stuff like that, and we know everybody's had a really, really tough time over the past year. Certainly for me, today actually marks 1 year of working from home. Yeah.
Wow.
So I definitely didn't think that was going to be the case when it sort of all started.
I don't think anybody did. My brother's the same. He's been working from home for a year as well. And he don't think that's going to change anytime soon either for him. Because he works in a busy call centre with the cubicles and stuff. And there's only so much you can do. It's like there's like 1,000 people work in the same room as him.
Yeah, I think it's going to change the way that we work. It's going to change so much, this pandemic, moving forward. Not just for working environments, but even like we've actually been able to do a podcast, which we talked about before, doing something like this, but lockdown's enabled us to do that from our own front rooms, or at Goodison, as you can see with our lovely backdrops. We are actually at Goodison. Yeah. Wayne is there in the daytime, and somehow we're managing to do that while I'm there at night. Empty stadiums, is how it works. But yeah, we've actually been able to do that.
We're socially distanced.
Socially distanced by time. Different time zones. We're making sure. So, but yeah, it's been able to, it's enabled us to do that, and it's brought three mates together, which all love Everton from different parts of Yorkshire, to be able to come together and present this to you guys that are watching. So yeah, it's been fun. I know we've missed Dom tonight, but hopefully we'll be back next week with the three of us and
maybe a guest.
Maybe a guest. It has proved a little bit difficult this week. I think it's been one of them weeks, but yeah,
difficult to tie anybody down this week, hasn't it? It's just like you said, it's been one of them. But yeah,
definitely.
Mate, we still had a laugh, haven't we?
We've still had a laugh and a good banter and put the world of football to rights.
Yeah, exactly, and not just Everton football. That was good. That was a nice.
That's it. Yep, we've had some bit of difference there as well. But yeah, thanks to anybody that's tuned in live with us, and if you're watching this on replay on YouTube or Facebook as well, then thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure.
Instagram as well. Is it on Instagram?
It's not live on Instagram. They don't allow us to stream live on there, but you can catch the link. You can click the link in there, and you'll be able to get that on there as well. So do share it around. Give us your love. Stick a like on there. Share it with your mates. Let's get some more toffees on here and have some good banter.
Yes, that would be good. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Tris, as well, mate.
No worries. Cheers. I will see you next week, hopefully. Take care. Bye-bye.